The average driver spends $1,000 every year on car repairs and maintenance, and most of that money could have stayed in their pocket. The truth is, a handful of small fixes and smarter habits can stop the failures that drain your wallet the fastest. Today, we're uncovering 18 repairs that can save you more than $2,000 a year, from hidden leaks to cheap parts that mechanics rarely mention. These are tricks that keep your car running stronger, longer, and your money where it belongs. Let's have a look. Number 18. Don't ignore that battery light. When the red light flickers on, most drivers assume it's the battery going bad. 9 times out of 10, it's actually the alternator. If you just replace the battery, you're treating the symptom, not the problem. An alternator that's failing won't charge properly, meaning every time you drive, the electrical system is slowly starving. That stresses your starter, ignition coils, and even your transmission's electronics. A dead alternator can leave you stranded with a repair bill over $800 once you add towing. Here's the smarter play. Grab a cheap voltmeter or stop in an auto parts store for a free charging test. If the charge isn't between 13.5 and 14.5 volts while running, the alternator is weak. Catching it early and swapping it before it fails can save you hundreds in collateral damage. That little warning light isn't optional. It's your early warning system. Ignore it and you're gambling with your whole car. Number 17. Don't let oil leaks slide. It's easy to brush off a small oil spot in the driveway. Many drivers top off occasionally and keep rolling. The hidden damage is that leaks usually don't just stay small. A leaking valve cover gasket drips oil onto hot components, which can cause smoke, foul odors, or even fires in rare cases. Worse, slow leaks gradually starve the engine of lubrication. Run too low, and you're risking spun bearings, seized pistons, and a full rebuild, easily a $3,000 repair. Most leaks are cheap to fix when caught early. A valve cover gasket averages around $200 at a shop. Oil pan gaskets are a bit more, but still nothing compared to a ruined engine. Watch for telltale signs like a burnt oil smell through the vents, greasy buildup near seals, or drops on the ground. Fixing the source early doesn't just save your engine, it also keeps the rest of your car cleaner and safer to drive. Number 16. Transmission fluid isn't lifetime. One of the biggest myths car makers push is lifetime transmission fluid. What they really mean is good until the warranty runs out. After 50 to 70,000 miles, fluid breaks down, additives wear out, and microscopic metal shavings build up inside the system. Ignore it and you'll feel delayed shifts, slipping gears, or worst of all, a complete transmission failure. That's $3,500 or more for most cars. The fix? A fluid change or flush before symptoms appear. A standard service costs about $250, pennies compared to a new gearbox. Use only the fluid type your manufacturer recommends, since mixing the wrong one can destroy seals and clutches. And if you tow, drive in extreme heat, or sit in stop-and-go traffic often, shorten the interval. Plenty of dead transmissions were really victims of dirty fluid. Fresh fluid makes shifts smoother and extends transmission life for years. Don't fall for the lifetime label. Number 15. Don't skip the timing belt. The timing belt is one of those parts you never notice until it fails. And when it does, it can take the entire engine with it. In most interference engines, a broken belt means the pistons slam into open valves, and the result is bent valves, damaged pistons, and a repair bill well north of $2,000, all from a 60 to 120 rubber belt that was overdue. Most manufacturers recommend changing it between 60,000 and 100,000 miles. If you just bought a used car and aren't sure, check the service records immediately. Some shops even write the replacement mileage under the hood. Replacing it on schedule, often with the water pump and tensioner, costs a fraction of an engine rebuild. Drivers who gamble on just a few thousand more miles often regret it in the worst way. Think of the timing belt as the heartbeat of the engine. Replace it before it stops ticking. Number 14. Coolant isn't forever. Most people think of coolant as colorful liquid that just keeps the engine from overheating. What rarely gets explained is that over time it becomes acidic. Once it dips below neutral pH, it starts corroding radiators, heater cores, and even cylinder heads from the inside. The scariest part is that this damage happens slowly and silently until one day the temperature gauge spikes and you're staring at a $1,500 head gasket repair. A gallon of quality coolant costs around $20. Flushing the system every 3 to 4 years keeps the protective additives fresh and prevents corrosion from eating away at critical parts. Just be sure to use the exact type specified by your manufacturer. Mixing the wrong coolants can form sludge that clogs passages. A simple flush is one of the cheapest long-term investments you can make in your car's health. Number 13. Replace power steering fluid. Engine oil and transmission fluid get plenty of attention, but power steering fluid is often forgotten until something goes very wrong. As the fluid ages, it collects tiny bits of metal from the pump and rack. Those particles circulate endlessly, slowly cutting into seals and valves. The first signs are stiff steering in the morning or a faint whine when turning. Ignore it and the steering rack can fail, costing $800 or more. Refreshing the fluid is surprisingly easy. A $5 turkey baster lets you extract the dark fluid from the reservoir, top it with fresh fluid, drive a while, and repeat. After a few cycles, the system runs on clean fluid again. Do this every 50,000 miles, and steering components last years longer. It's one of the cheapest ways to keep steering smooth and avoid an expensive surprise repair. Number 12. Don't buy the whole part. Dealers love to sell complete assemblies when only a small piece has failed. A control arm bushing wears out, and suddenly you're quoted for the entire $300 control arm. A window regulator loses a clip, and they insist on replacing the whole motor assembly. In reality, many of these components can be rebuilt with individual parts that cost a fraction of the full replacement. Enthusiast forums and independent mechanics are great sources for this knowledge. A $20 rubber bushing can be pressed into place instead of throwing out a perfectly good control arm. A cracked plastic slider and a window track can be swapped for less than $10. Even alternators and AC modules can often be repaired with single capacitors or bearings rather than buying an entirely new unit. With a little research, you can save hundreds and sometimes even end up with a stronger fix than the original. Number 11. Don't fall for the dealer-only myth. It's easy to assume that the dealership is the fastest option for repairs, but that shiny service desk comes with a steep price. Dealers often charge $150 to $200 per hour for labor, while independent shops average closer to $100. On big jobs, that difference alone can save you thousands. And here's the kicker. Many factory parts are actually made by suppliers like Bosch, Denso, or Delphi. Dealers repackage them with their own branding and mark up the price. Independent shops often install the exact same part for far less. Some even let you bring in your own. Many of these mechanics are former dealership master techs who know all the tricks and fixes without the corporate upsell pressure. Choosing a trusted dealership shop is one of the easiest ways to keep quality while cutting costs dramatically. Number 10. Service your brake fluid. Most drivers never think about brake fluid until the pedal feels soft or a warning light comes on. The truth is that brake fluid slowly absorbs water over time, even if the system never leaks. Once it has enough moisture, the boiling point drops and the fluid starts corroding lines, calipers, and even the ABS pump. An ABS module replacement can easily cost over $1,200. Flushing the brake fluid every 2 to 3 years costs less than $100 at most shops, and often under $20 if you do it yourself. The difference in pedal feel is immediate, with firmer braking and more consistent performance under heavy use. This simple service not only protects expensive parts, but also makes the car safer to drive. Think of it as an oil change for your braking system. Skip it, and you may be rolling the dice on your most important safety feature. If these tips are helping already, hit the like button so more drivers can save money too. And make sure you're subscribed. The best secrets are still ahead. Number 9. Wash the undercarriage to stop rust. Car owners love keeping the paint shiny, but the undercarriage quietly takes the real beating. Salt, mud, and grime trap moisture against the frame, brake lines, and suspension until corrosion takes over. Once rust sets in, it spreads quickly and repairs become expensive. Entire frames have been totaled because the metal weakened beyond repair. The fix is simple. In winter or after driving on salty roads, run your car through a wash that includes underbody spray. At home, a garden hose with a sprinkler attachment works surprisingly well. For long-term protection, rust-proofing sprays like fluid film or chrome add years to your vehicle's life. A $20 wash or $60 coating is a small investment compared to replacing brake lines or suspension components that rusted out too soon. Cars that stay clean underneath often look and drive like new long after others are junked. Number 8. Protect electrical connections. Water and electricity never mix, yet they consistently meet inside a car. Humidity, rain, and road spray work their way into connectors and sensors. The result is flickering headlights, random warning lights, or a no-start issue that seems to appear out of nowhere. These electrical gremlins can cost hours of labor to track down and leave you with repair bills in the hundreds. A small tube of dielectric grease is the cheapest insurance. Anytime a connector is unplugged, simply apply a light layer to the pins or inside the boot. It seals out moisture, prevents corrosion, and keeps the connection strong. Mechanics often solve mystery misfires with nothing more than a cleaned and greased connector. A $7 product used in the right places can save endless headaches later. Protecting your car's wiring is one of those small habits that pay off every time bad weather hits. Number 7. Keep EV and hybrid batteries cool. For electric and hybrid drivers, the most expensive component is the battery pack. Heat is its #1 enemy. In hot climates, batteries can lose significant percentage of capacity within just a few years if they are not properly cooled. Early Nissan Leaf owners in places like Arizona found their range dropping rapidly because the packs had no cooling system. Replacing a high-voltage battery often costs several $1,000s, sometimes more than the car is worth. Smart habits extend battery life. In summer, pre-cool the cabin while the car is still plugged in so the pack is not under stress at startup. Avoid keeping the battery at a consistent 100% charge, since that accelerates wear. For hybrids, parking in shade or a garage makes a real difference. Treat the battery like an engine that needs the right temperature to thrive. Do that and you can delay or even avoid the most expensive repair of all. Number 6. Protect your diesel pump with a simple additive. If you drive a diesel, there's a secret few people know. Modern ultra-low sulfur diesel has far less natural lubricity than older fuel. That puts enormous stress on high-pressure pumps like the Bosch CP4, which are used in many trucks. When those pumps fail, they often send metal shavings through the entire fuel system. Repairs quickly jump to $9,000 or more. A cheap way to prevent this is adding a small amount of ashless 2-stroke oil or a quality diesel additive into the tank. Many truck owners report quieter pumps and smoother idling after doing this. Just a pint per fill-up can restore the lubricity that older fuel used to provide. Consider the risk. A $1 preventative habit is one of the smartest investments a diesel driver can make. Ignore it and you could be staring at a catastrophic repair bill no shop will discount. Number 5. Fix weak links before they fail. Every car has a known weak spot. It might be a plastic water pump housing on a BMW, a head gasket issue on an older Subaru, or a fragile electronic sensor on a Jeep. The trick is to learn what usually breaks on your car and fix it before it fails. Forums, YouTube communities, and even service bulletins from the manufacturer are filled with patterns of failure. By replacing a $60 coolant flange or a $100 tensioner ahead of schedule can avoid thousands in collateral damage. Smart owners often plan these upgrades at the same time as routine service, so it is done on their terms. It's not paranoia, it's strategy. Instead of waiting to be stranded on the highway, you are turning a predictable failure into a simple Saturday repair. That is how people push cars to 250 miles without major breakdowns. Number 4. Stop carbon buildup in direct injection engines. If your car has a direct injection, your intake valves are quietly collecting carbon deposits every mile you drive. Older engines wash those valves with fuel, but direct injection sprays fuel directly into the cylinder. The valves are left exposed to hot, oily vapors that bake into crusty layers of carbon. The result is rough idling, power loss, or even misfires by 40,000 miles. The dealership fix is walnut blasting, which costs $500 to $700. The smarter move is installing an oil catch can. It's a small canister that traps the oil vapor before it ever reaches the valve. Many owners are shocked by how much gunk they drain from the can at each oil change. That sludge is exactly what would have been coating the inside of the engine. For under $100 and an hour of work, you can save yourself from a recurring expense cleaning and keep your engine breathing like new. Number 3. Replace belts before they snap. Modern serpentine belts drive everything from the alternator to the water pump. And when one goes, all those systems stop at once. Belts can last up to 100,000 miles, but heat, wear, and age eventually cause cracks and fraying. A sudden break can leave you stranded with overheating, a dead battery, and no power steering, all at the same moment. Checking the belt takes seconds. Look for glossy surfaces, cracks along the ribs, or sealing noises when the engine runs. A replacement belt usually costs under $50, and many can be swapped in less than an hour. Compare that to the cost of a tow and the chain reaction of damage from overheating, and the math speaks for itself. Belts are not glamorous, but they are a lifeline. Replace them on your schedule and not after a roadside breakdown. Number 2. Keep your cabin air filter fresh. A clogged cabin air filter seems like a small inconvenience, just weaker airflow or a bit of dust. What most people don't realize is that it also forces the blower motor to work overtime. Over months or years, that extra strain burns out the motor, and suddenly you're paying $200 or more for a repair that could have been avoided with a $20 filter. Replacing it is often one of the easiest jobs on a car. In most models, the filter sits behind the glove box and takes only minutes to swap. Doing it every 12,000 to 15,000 miles keeps the air inside your car clean, improves defrost performance in winter, and preserves the motor. For passengers with allergies or asthma, it makes a notable difference. Think of it as cheap insurance for comfort, and for one of the most overlooked overlooked electrical components in the vehicle. Number 1. Rotate tires on schedule. Tires are expensive, and nothing wears them out faster than skipping rotations. Front tires carry more load since they handle steering and most of the braking. Without regular rotation, they wear unevenly and lose thousands of miles of life. That not only costs you money on early replacements, but can also affect handling and safety. Rotating every 5,000 to 7,000 miles helps spread the wear evenly. Many tire shops include rotations for free when you buy a set, and even if you pay out of pocket, it rarely costs more than $40. Drivers who rotate on time often get an extra year or more out of their tire. That means fewer trips to the shop, better fuel economy, and more predictable grip in rain or snow. It's one of the simplest habits you can build, and it pays off every time you hit the road. Mechanics may keep these details quiet, but now you know the playbook. Each of these habits adds up to a car that lasts longer and costs less to own. And this is just the beginning. There are countless other tips that can save you money and stress on the road. If you found value in this video, hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss the next set of secrets. Your car will thank you, and so will your wallet. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.